Alright, we're back with more Kentucky Route Zero. I'm in the Hall of the Mountain King again, just having wrapped up dealing with the computer. So let's get out of here, I think is what we're supposed to do next. Yeah, we already talked to these people. Gate is open. Yep. So let's get out of here and keep looking for what we're looking for. Empty wine bottles and library books. Oh no. We got some people playing some music for us. Someone has left a portable tape recorder on the path. It doesn't appear damaged, but there's no tape to play. I might have already read these ones. It's been a little bit, so we'll just skip them, I think. Here's a bookshelf. And a lantern. And there's Homer. Thanks for waiting, Homer. Thanks for waiting, Homer. We were gone a bit longer than expected. Ran into some trouble, Homer. I won't lie to you. Johnny. What happened up there? Just a bunch of computers. Johnny yawns. That pretty much sums it up, I think. Just a bunch of computers. It's time to go. So, turn the radio. Yeah. The rope. The cathode ray. Children. About a dozen children are gathered in a shallow, dry basin to the side of the road. They are seated on overturned pots and pans arranged in 3 configurations. One group of 5 children are clustered to the right. One group are arranged loosely in the center, all facing an older girl who sits on 3 pans stacked together. The boy at the head of the arrangement looks sternly down on another child. A younger boy kneeled on the stone floor without a pot to sit on. A spare stock pot, perhaps belonging to the younger boy, is set to the side. Sit in the center, sit on the right, stand next to the younger boy. Let's stand next to the younger boy. Ezra stands next to the younger boy. The older girl nods solemnly to Ezra. The older girl takes a wide green leaf from the floor next to her and pretends to read off a list of charges. The younger child is accused of making agreements for trading card exchanges which he was not able to honor. The judge asks for a witness to testify. A boy describes the participants and events depicted on the trading card he was to receive, and makes related claims about the defendant's nature. Your Honor, he didn't give me my Blue Eyes White Dragon. Ezra is prompted to argue on behalf of his client. Claim mistaken identity. Ezra makes a case for mistaken identity. The judge invites the jury to examine the defendant more carefully. The defendant slyly rearranges his hair. The jury is sequestered a few feet away and returns with a verdict of not guilty. The groups of children reconfigure themselves and a new trial begins with the former defendant now as the judge. Okay. Phoenix Wright, that was not. It's the Z. Oh yeah, that's the Lost? It's no shame. We'll take over. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna have Junebug just take us to our next destination, whatever that's gonna be. Hey, it's the Bureau! That's a really nice feature, because sometimes I don't particularly feel like figuring out the zero. Act 3, Scene 12. The Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces. Hey, you see that cat over there? Think she eats the bread? Maybe we should leave a crust or two behind, and she'll go for it when she's comfortable. To reception. I noticed that we're kind of playing more as Shannon now. And Conway is just kind of sitting there. Nothing. Oh. Hey, wait a minute. That's ruling. Here you are. Marianne has the rest of the evening off, so I'm minding the desk. Any word on the address? The results just came in by courier. Good news. Donald and his assistants were able to sort through the noise. I had Rick cross-reference their results again, some of our records. He found a corresponding mail stop on the Echo River route. As it happens, the night ferry is scheduled to make its stop here shortly. The ferryman carries the mail and collects the garbage as well. I'm sure you can catch a ride out that way. You're welcome to wait here. I have to get back to packing. Are you going somewhere? I might. I'm feeling impulsive, and I'd like to be ready. Maybe back to Mexico. It's been years. They still have one of my sculptures in a museum down there. Did you know that? Big, ugly iron thing. Time to have it scrapped anyway. Safe travels. Try to stay out of the water. It's colder than it looks. And deep. Yeah. You don't want to end up meeting Alan Wake. I feel like that's something that could happen in a game like this. How long do we have to wait? Oh, who knows? Alright, what happened? Toucan, up to you. It's okay. You can tell him. It doesn't matter anymore. Fine. So, we were in that graveyard. We're going to talk about what happened in the graveyard and when we were trying to get the pieces to fix the Xanadu. Act 3, Scene 13. This is a long act. Where the strangers come from. Okay. Oh. So this is a replay of what we did before. Well, this can't be right. Looks like an old church. Worth a look inside. I guess. I want to stay outside. Okay. I'll stay with him. We can look for lizards. Okay, we'll make it quick. So now we're going to see what happened. Floor. Let's look at the floor. The church floor is cold metal, scuffed and flexed by unknown boot heels. Still, a handmade apparatus for the production of moonshine, assembled from scavenged metal and natural materials. I don't know what I expected. The strangers, he kept saying. Kind of vague already, isn't it? Donald's a stranger. Hell, you and I are practically strangers. Listen, earlier in the mine, I didn't want to talk about it, but what'd you find down there? When I saw Weaver, she was on TV. I was testing a pretty simple tube repair, flipping through channels to check the saturation, and she was just there. It was kind of horrible. I mean, I told you she disappeared, suddenly, ran away, but we thought... You thought she was dead. Yeah, I guess I don't like to say it. Dead. And then, the next time I flipped to channel 2, Weaver... It's burned in my vision now. She's standing in a room. The walls are a blank kind of gray. There's tape on the walls, like markings and desks. A classroom, maybe. I just want to take a minute here to... We are having a flashback to a flashback. So this is... I mean, we're going to have to go a level deeper here in a minute. The camera is in the corner, so it's this sort of 45-degree angle into the room, and there's Weaver right there in the center of the picture. I stopped turning the dial. Hell, I think I stopped breathing. Eventually she spoke, but there was no real sound, just this awful hum. I read the closed captions. She said to go to the mine. I'd find something there. I can't remember her exact words. Whenever I try, I get distracted, fuzzy. Shannon coughs into her sleeve. It's so dusty in here, right? Yeah, real dusty. You'd think with all these holes in the ceiling... What the hell was that? Did you hear that? We should check outside. We should... Oh my goodness, anyone else see Undercover Brother? They're going to the Brotherhood. Hey! Undercover... Oh, it is a electroskeleton. Wait. I'm the skeleton? Wait a minute. These are the guys who were in that weird play, The Visitors. Let's talk to the visitors. The stranger activates the tape player slung on his shoulder. A crackly drawl echoes in the room. It is patient. It sounds like it should be smiling. Doolittle. My regrets. I hope I didn't keep you waiting long. We don't see a lot of foot traffic these days. I guess you're here about the job. I'm afraid we only have one opening at the moment. Horrible business. We're actually looking for some information about an old computer. Certainly. I'll tell you everything you need to know. This is the same text as the Zero text, isn't it? I've only just met you, but I feel certain there's a place for you here. I'll just take you over to meet the dispatcher, show you the trucks, get you familiarized. We can converse as we go. What is this place? Some kind of factory? Yeah, maybe, but for what? Why hidden away like this? And what's that smell? Like bread. Baking bread? Please, follow me. Oh, this is the distillery, isn't it? The Hard Times Distillery. So, Conway's leg looks a lot like that guy's leg. Oh, I'm still playing as the skeleton. Gotcha. Wait. Oh, weird. So I can degauss the skeleton. I have to ask you to step in here for a moment. This is for your safety. And adjust your outfits just a bit. There's some protective headwear up on the wall back there. Please remove your shoes and eyeglasses. We don't wear glasses, so that won't be an issue. Well, do us a favor and put on the headwear anyway. Just this way. Alright, so they got hard hats on. This looks like some sort of, like, Dr. Evil spyware kind of stuff right here. Let's look over here in the big display. More new arrivals this evening. Plenty to do. Got to relay the formula. What job are they working? I don't know that it's been settled just yet. You see, sometimes we take on newcomers already in debt to the distillery. It is the distillery. One of the foremen will find something for them to do. Chip away at their sum until it's all settled. That's what I'm doing here. Chipping away. That's what we're all doing. That's the people from the bar, isn't it? We can't get too close. Aw, that's totally them. Wow, check this stuff out. It must be decades old, but it's in perfect condition. How do you think they keep it like that? Maintenance, old man. I bet it's someone's job around here. Probably hard to keep all the dust out, you know, underground. That's why I got into this business, to keep old stuff like this running. Seems like such a shame just let it fall into ruins, you know, like that computer back in the cave, Xanadu. Decades of engineering, thousands of years of mathematics and philosophy, all petrified into living stone. How could you just let that fall apart? Skull, wow. This is Earl. He used to be a beekeeper. Borrowed some used casks to store the hives, but the interest accrued more quickly than the honey. Now he works for us here in logistics. I'm gonna keep degaussing these guys. He's got like a tag on him. I just noticed. There's a shot. Here's the fleet. Ha ha! Oh, we just use these to get around internally. How big is this place? Oh, it's grown a great deal over the years. Incredible to think, really. When Mr. Bishop founded this operation, it was only about 1,800 square feet, and half of that or more was occupied by camouflage to keep the law out. Hiding in the back of an old church, purifying spirits by handmade fire. A kettle and a dream. So the trucks are just east a ways. In shipping, you can become acquainted with the dispatcher there. Give me a tap on the shoulder if you see something that catches your eye. Always happy to show off the facility's sublime machinery. To shipping. We're here. There's a truck. Here it is. Now I have to ask as a matter of course, what kind of experience do you have driving trucks? I drove deliveries for an antique shop up until this last run. Precious cargo. You'll do just fine. And you can drive safely, can't you? I haven't any doubt. Now, it's only after what happened with Miguel this evening. What happened with Miguel this evening? Well, the dust is still clearing, of course. Perhaps he closed his eyes a moment, or simply hit a curve too devilish. I do pity ill-fated Miguel. He was good company and slow to anger. But if we're speaking confidentially, well, with all the lost products to be repaid, bourbon and glass dashed across the interstate, and a few casks too, we're all just thankful he had no next of kin. So let's see if we can ring up the dispatcher. Doolittle starts the truck and switches on the CB radio. A deep, monotonous voice drones from the dashboard speaker. 10:20 on that load, come back. Up in the Hummingbird Cave, 10:12, City Kitty. This is a good time, dispatch. We have found Miguel's replacement. Tonight, thought you might like to get acquainted. 10-9, come again? Introduce yourself. Tell dispatch something impressive about yourself. They're very well regarded here. I'm not really here for a job. I'm not... 9-9 wheel holder, gotta pay the water bill. So... I'm certain they'll call back before long. Let's take a look around the truck, eh? Wipers. Control the wipers with this knob here. Your little fingers fiddles with the controls. They seem to have a decent torque to them, eh? I can't say how they'd fare in an ice storm. They must never delay a shipment. Better to assume the rest. Folks watch the weather closely. I wouldn't know it if I saw it. Too many years of climate control. Have I mentioned I rarely, if ever, leave our facility? I wouldn't know the rain if it drowned me. They ditch class for the day. It was pointless to stay. I'll review. He was a lost cause, and she didn't need it anyway. She was smart and bored. It was time to cut out. Shitty day for it, though. 83 and biblical flood. They went to see a movie. It was some anonymous swashbuckler film about real men and women. Real tights, real lips, fake blood. They brought a flask. They smoked cigarettes, drank awful hooch, whistled buckets of rain. She sang about someone she wanted once to have loved. Brown hair curled around her ear. She had a voice like Scotch whiskey. They poured another drink, and another, and another. She worried it was getting dark out. Then it was getting light out. They ended up in someone else's field, in someone else's car. An early morning joyride and a sunrise collision. She got on the bus and he hiked back to his car. He sat in his car and went over some options. Chicago, Toronto, Barrow. Wait, by the way, we are once again 2 layers deep into a flashback. It seemed like a bold and impulsive gesture at the time as he pulled out of the parking lot. He removed his hands from the steering wheel for a moment and felt the car drift into a decision. Years later, he'd think of this as the moment he himself started drifting. A modest technology but suited to the job, eh? Plenty good enough. Look at the headlights. Headlights work fine, see? Do little fiddles with the controls. That's important. Most of our product goes out at night. You never know who you'll run into in the daylight, and dusk can be treacherously misleading with all that indirect light. The magic hour, eh? Ever sleep in the day, then? Sure! Those that sleep. Miguel pulled extra day shifts when he could. Sometimes he'd help me, you know? Sometimes over in bottling. He shouldn't have been out driving at dusk. Weird shadows, soft light, and dangerous. Conway had to get off the highway. Too loud, too murky. He turned off into some gray cornfield in Indiana. Empties rattled under the passenger seat. He kept them over there so the smell wouldn't spread. The window was always open a crack. He had to pull over. He just needed a nap, even if he ran late. He was only human. He'd been out since the headlights were on. Didn't even stop for coffee. He cracked a beer at 3, eyes on the road. 4:30, he dodged some stray cattle. The headlights were coming back on. Rockford could wait. Early morning couldn't be much worse than late night. What did they care? He just needed a few hours. So, moving on. Let's look at the tires. Oh, sure, I know you'll want to look. Kick the tires, that's the thing we do, isn't it? As though our knees could exert the kind of force these tires see out there on the road. We're more likely to hurt ourselves, isn't it the way, huh? Sure, they're big machines, but they can be fragile. Absolutely. A truck deserves care and fearful respect, like a glass elephant. Miguel was a good driver, but he didn't have that quality of deference. Conway sat in a dim room full of folding chairs. The walls and ceiling were painted with old smoke. Someone read from the book. He drank coffee with a little sugar. He listened. The speaker listed all the things we tried. We, most people in the room were probably there by court order. A few others shared. They spoke in abstractions like a program of action, a good, orderly direction, spiritual but not religious, religious but not spiritual, all of the things we tried. Then it was over. They clasped sweaty hands through a short prayer and stepped back out into the morning. So that's probably an AA meeting, so that's funny. He knew it was time to hit the door. And that's it, he started walking. He was always walking. These days it was good to slow down. It felt clarifying, like a walking meditation. The road ran by a creek for a while. He took an unforeseen detour where the creek and road parted. Following the edge of the water, he skipped a few stones, alone, then stopped to consider an overturned boat. It was a kind of serenity that wandering and looking without purpose. He was coming to rely on those moments. Now, what else can we show you? Look at the back. It looks like it's just about ready to go out. We have some good strong folks in shipping here, so you never need to worry about loading if you don't want to. Bit hard on the knees and back at our age, eh? Of course, you'll have to unload at the destination, but that's the job. And some drivers like the after shift stacking and loading here. I shouldn't really do any lifting these days. I see. Well, surely we can spare a dolly and carrying strap for your health and safety. Tommy woke up and baled hay. Everything was too bright. His head hurt, the usual. Lisette and Ira argued loudly just outside the open barn door. She wanted Ira to take him inside and shower, have some coffee, get to the job. Ira said there wasn't time. Conway was in no condition. It was an important job. They couldn't put it off. Ira said to let the deadbeat sleep it off and then send him packing. He said Charlie could do the job. Conway stepped out of the barn, shielding his eyes. He tried to say something reassuring, but just sort of stumbled around it. Lisette looked away. Ira just spat, and they went inside to wake Charlie. Ira was a stubborn man, so Charlie went along, and Conway drifted out again. he didn't hear about the accident until months later. So, what's next? The radio, I guess. The truck's radio crackles back to life. Driver, come back. Ah, there's dispatch. Now tell them about your experience. Tell them the truck's in good shape. Tell them we'll start in the morning. I really can't. Yeah, we've got to finish this delivery in a few. Dispatch, got 2 black guys and a flock of crocodiles. Come back. 10-4, back it down and prick your eyelids, driver. Come back, Lem. 10-4. Come back, wheel holder. Conley remains silent. Dispatch is addressing you. He's here, dispatch. Got your ears on? Good. Listen to this. Silence. So, I think that went well. Let's head back up to logistics and seal the deal, eh? And I've got one more thing to show you. So it's like the fact that we're controlling these people, I'm assuming indicates that they're in the driver's seat. Like, they're the ones who are in control right now. Literally. As well as figuratively. Let's just drive around here. What is this? What's this? Water pump. Well, to make a bourbon, you'll need some water, won't you? Here's where it all comes in, the mundanity of it. Quite an impressive chorus when they all get going like this, though. What river is this? It's an artery of the Echo River. The Echo River is fed from Lake Lethe. Well, you wouldn't recognize a drop of it. Lethe is cold, dark, and so very deep. And still, rumors of Lake Lethe's supernatural properties are, I'd say, just a bit exaggerated, but I wouldn't fish on it. The mill. It's an antique. Perfectly functional. We recuperated it from a site upriver decades ago. Keeps us honest in our old world charm, if you follow. We do as much upkeep as the formula allows. What's the formula? Eh? Oh, the formula changed our lives. Once years ago, we were as prisoners to the intricacies of our debt here. We'd have to account for everything on paper. Compounding interest by hand, reassessing amortization and leveraged asset distributions according to nightly merit decay. Then she stepped out of the dark cave to show us the light of the formula. She had a brilliant grasp of mathematics and a saint-like way of speaking right through the numbers. Now we just plug our daily numbers into the formula and run it all through the adding machine. We occasionally suffer from surplus drift, but she instructed us on all the necessary adjustments. It was devastating to see a revered mathematician go, but she was needed elsewhere. Her legacy abides. The water wheel is 20 feet up. Gives us more clearance for a big hopper. When we pulled it out of the water at the old site, the wheel just kept spinning and it hasn't stopped yet. Guess it did need the river to turn it after all. Mess hall. Oh, this looks depressing. Anything here? Do you think you could ever live somewhere like this? Seems lonely. Yeah, I guess you don't. Where do you live? I stayed in a barn on Lisette's property. Oh, damn. Hey, I was living in my workshop, right? Now that your shop is closing, I guess you're... Yeah, I guess that's me too now. If I can't get my landlord to change the locks back. Just a couple of vagrants, huh? we'll figure it out. Bunks. Why can't we look at that? I guess we can't look at it. That's too bad. So they were, like, here a long, long time. Pretty good vehicle AI, I'll say that. Pathfinding on this is pretty nice. I'm sure that took a lot of effort. A lot of tweaking. Anything else to look at? The park. Or is that just like saying park? Anything up here to look at? Distillation. Here's a spot we can stop off at. The warehouse. Feel that draft of warmth like a summer breeze. This is the aging warehouse. Oh, this is the aging warehouse. And the Cassie got an agent in there. I couldn't say exactly. Take a look at the inventory report later if you like. Plenty, though. Was that just something just floating through the air? Of course, we only have half our aging stock here at any given time. Most distilleries let their whiskey sit in casks through the cycle of seasons. In summer, the wood expands and the whiskey seeps in, picking up flavor. In winter, the wood contracts and squeezes the whiskey back out. Down here, there are no seasons. Each workday proceeds from the last in an unbroken chain of climate control. So we make our own seasons. Each cask alternates in a weekly cycle between the cold ground upstairs and this heated warehouse. So I guess these are like before and after. I wonder what they keep the old casks around for. They smell nice for a little while, but it's pretty overpowering. No way around that smell. No way to clean them after the aging process. I mean, it's a one-way street. Those look like coffins. Those are coffins. So people work here and they get in debt forever and then they die. What's up here? Anything interesting? What's this? Computers! Please, don't touch a thing. Very sensitive devices. We're not even allowed to run the formula through them. We have some computer issues of our own. Computers. Personally, I am opposed. On principle. Am I boring you yet? Are you simply dying of boredom? I myself could discuss this matter past sunrise. We're trying to fix this old computer in the caves. Of course, I'm boring you. Let's move on. What's this? More of these old computers. Looks like about the same vintage as the stuff in the cave. What's this little screen for? Oh, wow, good eye. This is an XY monitor. They use them in oscilloscopes in arcade games, or they used to, anyway. It's rare stuff. Hey, is this like antiquing with Lisette for you? Probably sound kind of ridiculous, waxing on about vacuum tubes and oscilloscopes. I don't think I could talk about anything like that. I bet you could. Someday maybe you'll bend my ear about whatever. Okay, well, let's get out of here then, I guess. We're done looking at everything. Let's go park. Unless there's something over here. Logistics. Anything down here? Boy, it is pitch black. Okay, nothing, just weird humming noises. Let's head back upstairs, eh? I have one more thing to show you. Wait, we only came here looking for some answers about this stupid moldy computer. Oh, the old man in the cave with the moldy computer. That black mold. It's drawn to whiskey. It feeds on ethanol fumes, you see? As we age the whiskey, some of it inevitably evaporates into the air. The angels share. It goes through the vents here and out into the caves. If we can scrape up that mold, we can usually apply some pressure and cold to it, squeeze and condense the angels share back into our whiskey. Every drop counts when you're making a living on this stuff, so we'd go down and scrape it off his equipment, just like any other place it grows. He kept sending his people here to drive us away. Paranoid. Truly paranoid. Well, now we have the formula, so we don't need to go collecting mold. We didn't do anything to his moldy computer. He just forgot the password. One of his assistants shared it with me. Dome in air. That'll get you going. I'm sure of it. So, join me upstairs. So they're putting black mold in their whiskey. Okay. Wait, is everyone gone now from in here? Yup. That's creepy. If you don't mind... Oh, they're gonna take the hard hats back off. Adding machine? Here it is, a beauty, wouldn't you say? It's an antique, you know. What is it? Why, it's an adding machine. This is where we come for our daily ritual to calculate the day's interest and repayment according to the formula. I usually do so at the beginning of my shift, so I know how many hours I need in order to keep up. Yes, I believe you'll do well, sir. Happy to have you. Congratulations, you're hired. Wait, we can't... It's customary here to start each day with a shift drink. Let's make it special. Mark the occasion. This is the top shelf stuff now. Single barrel. He doesn't. Down the hatch. Vina Memoria Mors. Wait, who's that there? It's forcing me to drink. It's forcing me to select it. I can't do anything about it. Yep, it forced me to do that. Decent enough. Welcome aboard. He's not working for you. We have to get back to this. He has a delivery to make. What's this? Not working. Are you turning down this opportunity? She's right. I have to make this. I'm disappointed. And I'm afraid that leaves us with a delicate problem. As I indicated, this is the top shelf stuff you're drinking now. It isn't cheap. If it's not your first shift drink, well, and then there's the matter of this tour just now. My time and experience are billed at quite a premium. This is not good for you, my friend. You're in quite deep. By my back-of-the-envelope estimations, well, we have that in common, I suppose, all of us. Yes, I'm afraid you'll have to work this off somehow. It's just the way of it. What's happening right now? You can start tomorrow. Take the time to settle your affairs, of course. The interest begins to compound immediately, and, well, we'll go over the formula when you get here. We should get back to work. See you tomorrow, then. Yeah, I immediately suspected that if you drank that, it would, they would start charging you for it. Because this place seems to be, you know, predatory mine kind of thing. So I guess I start in the morning. I guess. I'm confused. It's just the way these things go, kid. Huh. Well, that gives us a few hours to roam, right? Where's that ferry? Act 3. Yes. That was a long one. Alright, here and there along the echo. Here we go. Last time was certainly weird, so let's see how this turns out. Here and there along the echo. Okay, we have a phone. Oh, that's neat. Haha, I like it. I have used a phone very much like this. Alright, 270... wait. 27030157997. Some music.
Hello. You have dialed into Here and There Along the Echo, a guide to the Echo River for drifters and pilgrims. This guide is a public service provided by the Bureau
Oh, nice.
of Secret Tourism.
I can hear the... It's not on speaker, I can kind of hear it in different ears. But I'll put it on speaker.
For a menu of our resources, press 1. If you have an extension to dial, press 9. For more information about our organization, press 3. If you don't, the Bureau of Secret Tourism is supported by a generous population of river creatures whom I fix up and drill as necessary. I'm environmentally minded, and I believe all creatures are equally deserving of support in their transition to the next world. So I usually try to sing a little elegy, like, small water creature, crab or frog, now you know that sleep is all around us, like a muggy, tranquil fog. Something like that. It's easier to come up with these songs when I'm hungry in a sort of transcendental fasting state, but I've actually just had breakfast. A debt of gratitude is also owed to the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces, who unselfishly and unknowingly donates this here telephone line for the purpose of this here informational resource. You can always find the latest secret tourism literature in any of our unmarked kiosks or any other old place it happens to lay. That's all I have to say about that. Hey, do me a favor. When you get a chance, call us back at extension 1928. You can press 0 now to go back to the main menu. Welcome home. For historical sites along the Echo River, press 1. For a guide to the river's flora and fauna, press 2. For help identifying an unfamiliar sound, press 3. If you're holding a snake right now, press 4. To hear these options again, press 0.
Wait.
For historical sites along the Echo River, press 1. For a guide to the river's flora and fauna. For different types of water, press 1. For the language of bats, press 2. For insect interactions, press 3. To return to the main... The Echo River is best known for its plentiful waters, not their volume, but their diversity. There's surface water, deep water, big water, and small water. Water that moves quickly, slower water, water in a cup. There's the water you know about, the water you don't know about, and the water you only assume exists due to indirect evidence, like a rumbling sound behind the rock. only makes things dirtier. Water's both soft and hard. Water in living bodies. If you come across any other kind of water, be very careful. Call us back and dial extension 0464 just to be safe. For different types of water, press 1. For the language of bats, press 2. For insect interactions, press 3. To return to the main, many find learning the language of bats to be intimidating. But it's really pretty straightforward. The most difficult part is getting your ultrasonic pronunciation right. See, bats have enormous, complex ears. For us, it's more of a struggle. Here, let's try some useful phrases. Repeat after me so you can practice your pronunciation. Here's how you say, I don't know where I am. Okay, here's how you could ask, haven't we met before? Great. And here's how you say, sorry, I must have left it in the boat. Now, a very useful phrase. It's a shame we didn't record that.
It's talent. Gotta say.
Every conversation has to end. So here's how to say, I will write that down in case I forget it later. For different types of water, if you stop your boat somewhere cool, you may find yourself swarmed by insects. You may swat at them or cover your face thinking they're all trying to bite you or buzz in your ear. But these insects are more interested in each other than they are in you. In fact, they've already forgotten you. They're back to chasing each other, breeding, competing over resources. Their minds are so shallow that while you've been standing there with your hands raised to your face, they've begun to think of you as part of the landscape, a funny-looking rock. This is what they sound like.
Is this gonna end at some point? I can't. There we go. Cool. Ready to go? Let's just take a minute. Oh, it's Bob and Emily. Gotcha. 5-7 nights. I'm gonna dial that extension 1928. physics on the cord here. That's kind of neat.
Hello. You have dialed into Here and There Along the Echo, a guide to the Echo River for drifters and pilgrims. This guide is a public service provided by the Bureau of Secret Tourism.
Secret tourism. How weird. Alright. Was it 9 for the extension? I think it was.
For a menu of our resources, press 1. If you have an extension to dial, press 9. Now is the time to dial an extension. I just want to listen to the wind blow. Or even better, television static. Can you tune your TV to a dead station and let the static play into the phone? When you're finished, press the 0 button. Thanks. Welcome home. For historical sites, well, if you're dialed into this here informational resource, then you're a certain kind of beachcombing, bat-calling sightseer. So let's take a driftwood inventory. For a diver's guide to underwater islands, press 1. For forgotten places, press 2. For restless places, press 3. For what little we know of the Iron Pariah, press 4. The Iron Pariah is just what she's called along the Echo River. Of course, she once had another name, but it's been scratched away, maybe out of shame, or maybe she took a bend too sharply and left her true name on a rock. So, what else? We know she was in the war, but neither side would claim her. We don't know if anyone's aboard. She drifts along the water and commands a wide berth. Tourists, if you hope to document the Iron Pariah, I fear you will be disappointed. She has a beguiling way of vanishing from photographs. Steer to shore and let her be carried along in silence. Pilgrims, I wouldn't dare to interfere. For a diver's guide to underwater islands, press 1. For forgotten places, press 2. For secret tourism, forgotten places are the vital spark. Take no pictures here, nor souvenirs. Write no travelogues. We will discuss these places now in vague and qualified descriptions. For the town with no roads to it, press 1. For the silo of late reflections, press 2. There is a town which has its own roads, but which no other roads connect to. They send and receive mail. There is a school, and so on. But what I want to tell you about now is the horses. There are horses living wild in this town. I forget how they got there. They don't stay in stalls. They sleep outside. They walk through the town, on the streets, or on the sidewalks, and the people of the town think of them as elegant, wordless neighbors. For a diver's guide to underwater...
Well, I think we've got the gist of it. Yeah, let's go. Act 4, here we go. There's the mammoth. Oh, it's a mechanical mammoth. Gotcha. 5A1 may result in undesirable play between teeth in the context and history state machine. Tears causing stuttering, slippage, resetting, skipping. Well, this is not helpful at all. Table of contents. 0. Introduction. 1. Installation. 2. Orientations. 4. Order of operations. 3. The passage of time. 5. Gestures. 6. Final notes. Oh yeah, no problem. Things happened. I'm not quite sure what they are or what they mean, but that's kind of the story of this game, isn't it? Missing a cage or something. My savior, our friend here, is in a bad way. Any insight? Time to put that mammoth out to pasture, Will. Oh, I feel certain she's got a few trips left in her. If only she had a more capable surgeon. Sadly, mechanics are in short supply down here. I think the setting is too romantic. It scares them off. What brings you down to the Echo tonight? Just tagging along. Ha! That doesn't sound like you. We dragged some folks to a show, just returning the favor. I'm sure your new friends appreciate the company. It's no shame to be lonesome. We picked you up at the Zero tonight. Never seen you that far upriver before. I hope that doesn't mean you've been traveling on the Zero. Yeah, have you been there? The Zero? Oh no, not me. This old river rat steers clear of weird highways. I've been traveling this river for more than half my life. More or less, alone. I think I've seen it change quite a bit in all those years, but I can't say for sure. The water has a peculiar way of making a person forgetful. Some nights I remember a place, but it's full of strange new people, and some nights I meet an old friend on an unfamiliar shore. I wonder which kind of night this is. Act 4, Scene 1. The Mucky Mammoth. Kate Will. So that's Shannon, and she has Conway's coat on now? Singing quietly. For we on old and whiskey fad. Oh! What gears? Probably, who knows. First thing I tried anyway. Down here by this little blue box, I took all the gears out, dried each one by hand, and I loaded them back in again. That took care of the grinding sound, but her trunk keeps doing that sparking, clanking, leaping thing. To be honest with you, I'm not really qualified for this work. Kate's a friend. You know how it is, don't you? What's your story, Will? The story? Well, I like to listen to them, I like to tell them, but I don't have one of my own. I also don't have a permanent address, or a pickup truck, or any change of clothes. I washed my laundry in the river, and in that moment I'm truly free. I don't even have any shoes. Hey, I should tell you where I left my shoes. Do you know I'm a classically trained organist? It's true. Look at these long fingers and pedal-gripping toes. It doesn't matter. A minor in French literature earned me a position teaching Artaud Tizola at the university. Well, some shitty governor cut state funding for a department, and I was demoted to mopping floors, running wiring through walls or in dangerous places. I even operated the soundboard at the student theater. I left my shoes there at the university. It was a protest. Walk without shoes for, I don't know, something important or tragic. I ended up by the shore, and soon I was drifting along the Echo. You know, for someone who didn't have a story, he sure has a story. It ran for a while above ground, then it doesn't anymore. But I prefer subterranean waters anyway. Kate brings me along, and I record what I see and hear. I try to help with maintenance. I drop off the mail and pick up the trash. On occasion, I take the helm. Anyway, that's all I try to remember anymore. I listen to the river stories, and my own stories get fainter and fainter. Well, if you talk to Kate, could you ask her when she stops for gas, could she pick me up a scratch ticket? Thanks. Talk to Kate. How's that cold river spray treating you? I thought I saw you squinting. It's hard water, you know, hard in the eyes. Still irritates mine a little, and I'm piloting a tugboat through it 6 nights a week. Don't be too shy to close them in public. Your eyes, I mean. People will just assume you're thoughtful. You need tea. So, peppermint, definitely. Bitter hedgehog, dried spring agaricus, split eel powder, and greening goat's foot. How far are we from Dogwood Drive? The echo was dicey tonight. Bad luck for you. Expect waves and diversions. Dogwood Drive is by the Silo mail stop, but we need to spend some time on the indirect route before we hit your stop, okay? And there's other business. Mail to drop off, garbage to pick up, and a few favors to execute. All dotted on the riverbanks from here to there. I hope you enjoy the trip on a little mammoth. Take advantage of all the amenities. Fresh air, cozy bunks, hot tea, the video room. There's some pretty interesting tapes down there, actually. Unusual. I mean, weird. Watch out that VCR doesn't take your hand off, though. It's untrustworthy. What's wrong with the VCR? I could take a look. Oh, please do. I don't know anything about electronics. Maybe try a few different tapes. You'll get the picture. I saw you talking to Will. He's an old friend. Don't be fooled by that burned-out aura. He's a smart and kind man. I think his only vice is those silly scratch tickets. Speaking of which, we're coming up on the next stop shortly. Are you feeling and picking up a few things? Well, eyes on the road. Ezra runs up to Shannon. Whoa, slow down. It's slippery up on deck. Do you have batteries? Yeah, of course. What for? Johnny said I could use his tape recorder, but it needs a battery. Oh, fun. Well, Shannon searches her pockets. Here's 4 different kinds. Surely one of these should fit. Thank you. So now we're playing as Will. Gotcha. Or Ezra. Well, this is interesting. There's a cat. There's some musicians. What? Jujunba. Oh, really? You were entranced. You don't remember this? It's okay. We've all seen a lot of concerts. Cyrano opened. His tape machine was broken or something. It got really cosmic. Right, at the flower shop. I remember that show. Sorry, Clara. Well, you have a second chance to hear it tonight. That was fast. You got the batteries? Let's see. Perfect. This one will do. So you hit this button here to record. Hold it right here so you don't cover the microphone with your hand. I'll bet you'll find a lot of good sound just around the tugboat. There's plenty of tape in there, so don't be stingy with it. Just record anything that catches your ear. It really changes the way you listen. For the better, I mean. Are you playing a concert tonight? I could record that. Yeah, Clara here came all the way from Lithuania just to do this Echo River gig. It's a tour. Tomorrow I'll be in Nashville, and then Atlanta, and then over to the coast. Brutal. Well, we're lucky she's making a stop. Johnny and I saw her play once, and I remember loving it, and Johnny was moved. Speaking of Cyrano, it's his night at the rum colony. Kate said she usually stops off there. Well, that's ideal. I'm supposed to meet a lady there to look at some old engine parts. About 3 hours ago. 3 hours goes fast at the rum colony, man. I bet she's still there. Hope we don't stop there too long. My concert is soon. I don't want to keep them waiting. Nah, it's river time. Nobody expects you to be punctual. Hey, why don't you give that tape recorder a try? See if that cat over there has anything he wants to say. I often use found sounds in my music. If you find some interesting sounds tonight, you could help me out. Alright, let's record the cat, I guess. Hey, there's Conway. His arm is turned into a lightning thingy. So, wait, are we playing as Ezra or Conway now? I'm assuming Conway. You know, it's the strangest thing. I can't remember why I came up here. Neither can I. Damn noisy river. It's just that thing about, what was it, when you walk through a door, when you go into the kitchen for something, as soon as you pass from one room into another, you forgot what you wanted. You have to walk back out just to remember, like you left a part of your brain behind. Hey, I wonder if I could follow that brain crumb trail all the way back to the room I was born in. Conway cranes his neck over the railing. It looks cold down there. It's dark. You weren't in the cabin long. Getting to sleep? Just resting my eyes for a minute. Every little bit helps, right? Shannon leans over the railing and looks at the river below. Did you see Ezra go in? Oh yeah, he's poking around with that tape recorder, exploring. He seems to keep himself entertained. It's good for him. It's important to know how to be alone. What's up, huh? You look like there's something you want to ask. Fine, you can ask it. One question. Did do you really have to go work at hard times? Didn't seem so bad, did it? It's a way to live. I mean, rent a bed, eat in the cafeteria, shift drink, keeps the devil quiet. It's a way to live. Not like I have a choice. I think you do have a choice. I've got to repay my debt. Hell, I should be grateful for the opportunity. If you want to die with any dignity, you've got to settle up. That's why it's such a shame when people go to so sudden. Oh, there we go. Here's the boat. I'm sure I talk too much. Everyone on this river does. The problem is that we listen twice as much as that. I'm only telling you half of the stories we hear. Kate told me that I would have been a photographer. She said, you have an uncanny way of having been in the place at the time the thing happened there, and that's the hardest part of taking a photograph anyway. Nice of her to say, but it isn't true. Though I know just about every story on this river, most of them I picked up second, third, or fourth hand, and so on. Listening, see? Now I know what you're going to ask, so I'm going to answer, yes, I'm sure they're all true. I personally believe a story gets more true as it's tossed around from brain to brain, and the whole community brings their insight to bear on the brutal facts of experience. There are a few Echo River stories I witnessed directly. I saw that big owl migration pass through. You might have heard about that. I was there when the old train station flooded. I saw the ghost of Stephen Bishop brew up a batch of white lightning on a raft. Anyway, I talked to a few sailors who'd recently crossed paths with him, and I suspect sampled his wares. One night, when I was working on the Mucky Mammoth, we picked up a gaggle of passengers headed down to a mail drop by the silo of Late Reflections. I knew a couple of them in passing, a pair of traveling musicians whom I often encountered on the river. The others were strangers to me at the time, a young woman, a small boy, and an old man whose name I didn't catch. Oh yeah, and a smelly old dog. We docked at a gas station so the Mammoth could refuel. So is this guy relating a story of the... Ezra followed Junebug and Johnny into the gas station. Yeah, makes sense. So it's kind of an ensemble cast now. Like, this isn't really Conway's story anymore. It's just a bunch of random people who we've picked up along the way. A gas station. We cut it close. I usually find this place upriver. Everybody's on the lake tonight. Running on fumes? Yeah, it's this little game I play. Try to get the needle all the way down before I pick it back up. Like playing chicken with the fuel gauge. Sounds ridiculous, right? Sounds efficient. It may be. I never thought of that. Anyway, it's nice to see you two. Most of my regular passengers must have gotten up elsewhere in their journey tonight. And that's that Storm, I think. Watching Ezra sprint past. Look at him go. That kid has a lot of energy. It's got to be past his bedtime, right? I don't think he has a bedtime. He's a maverick. Sounds familiar. You don't have any of your own. I mean, no, I guess not. I just realized you two come through here often. We chat about all kinds of stuff, but I never thought to ask about family. We're all the family we need. That's sweet. So how about that storm upstairs? Did you two get caught in it? I heard it kind of roamed around, uncertain. I'm sure we'll all hear about it tomorrow. Flooding, property damage, probably killed a few tomatoes. It's got the river churning and everyone headed to the lake here, where the water's calmer. I myself don't mind navigating a choppy river. Not at all. I've got a good feel for it. Plus, it's better for fungal growth. High water consumes the cave moths, and their wet wings clump together into these little balls of nutrient-dense mushroom food. Jammed by current here and there between the rocks. You have never seen a mushroom grow like a soggy cave moth carcass. Amazing. If I could get a day off, Val and I would be out there all day tomorrow to harvest. I mean, they'll be ready by tomorrow. A mushroom will grow just as fast as you can pump water into it. Hey, are you two headed out this way tomorrow? Maybe I could send Val ashore with you for a few hours. She's got a remarkable nose for mushrooms. You wouldn't even need to know what to look for. Put a bag around her neck and she'll just bring them all to you. Yeah. No room on the bike for a dog, Cricket. She could curl up on the sidecar. I'll sit on my legs. Silence. So, I should get back aboard. No rush, just want to brew some tea before we get underway. Headed into the station. Thought I'd grab some black coffee for the old man. He's looking a bit waterlogged. Sure, don't want him falling asleep on you. Nah, he'll be alright. He seems like the type who can hold his liquor. Seems like he has a little experience, I mean. Hey, while you're in there, could you remind the gas station attendant this fuel is on my tab? Charged to the Mucky Mammoth. Oh, and Will wanted a scratch ticket. Thanks. I think I'll just watch the lake for a bit, ma'am. I just noticed Junebug and Johnny are wearing different clothes in every scene. Looking for crystals? Why do you assume I'm looking for crystals? We've got them on sale. All kinds of folks come in here looking for crystals. There's a few over there with milky white shocks to the middle, like you caught a piece of cloud. People seem to like those a lot. Yep. Popular crystals. You work on the Mammoth? I can add it to your tab. Oh, you know the tugboat? The captain, Kate, said I'd have to remind you. Sure, they're here every night. It's okay. I have one of those faces. Forgettable. Does it bother you? I've learned to cherish it. There's dignity in being forgotten, letting the crowd flow around you unspoiled. I used to live in a city. I mean a real city. Cleveland, Ohio. I had some family money then, and I didn't have to work. I lived in hotels. In daylight, I walked wherever the people were. My only duty was to the crowd. I was its observer, its historian, its detective, its poet. Well, the money ran out, and I dispersed with the rest of them. I took my duties with me here, to Lake Lethe and the Echo River. I lived behind this counter, anonymous, invisible, but I lived with dignity. And yourself? No, I don't think so. I don't blend in. And not so easy to forget. I'd say. I see now that you're right. Well, that's yours to bear, then. We keep all the crystals on that shelf over there. Buy one, get one free, of equal or lesser symmetry. I need to get a scratch ticket, too. Crystals are rough and dirty. Some are damp. They must have come out of the river. They had attended as a trip. Anonymous, invisible, but I live with dignity, he said. Junebug tries to scrape some green algae off a larger specimen, examining it for the kind of cloudy inner formation the attendant said was so popular. What a depressing outlook. You. And a few numbers are woven through the algae. But what? Does Johnny ever feel like that? This isn't even algae at all. It's a decayed plastic bag cut on the rock. Norm. To attendant. Shit, that float walker washed you halfway up out to sea. I was looking for you down by New Königsberg, same as usual, but ain't nobody there, and the river's deep as an elephant's... Oh, didn't see you there, ma'am. Pardon my English. Where are you headed? Well, in fact, I'm headed right here. Glad to have found it at last. I expect you must be Loretta. Enchanted to meet you. Sorry, I'm late. Hey, is that coming on too flowery or something? Enchanted? Repeating it now, I feel a little silly. Enchanted sounds pretty old-fashioned. Is that the kind of gal Loretta is? I guess I don't know. But now I'm double embarrassed. How do you know Loretta? I really don't. I met Loretta on the computer. We met each other there. I guess we spoke through the computer and agreed to meet. I don't know the terminology. I haven't dated in quite a while. Back when I met Greta, that's my wife. Excuse me, my ex. Or maybe I am her ex? I don't know how to say it. Anyway, back then there wasn't such a thing as computers at all. I guess there probably was, but I never heard of one. I worked in textiles. So here I am. So what's your plan when Loretta shows up? Oh, maybe head down to the rum colony? Shoot, I forgot to ask if she likes to drink. You really never know these days. I guess first I'd ask her about that. If she doesn't like rum, I'd maybe try to take her by the bat sanctuary. That's pretty romantic, in a sense. Like misty valleys and ruined churches romantic, not like flowers and chocolates romantic. Of course, they've got that memorial there. That's a little depressing, actually. Maybe we just kind of sail around that. I guess I probably missed her. I wonder if she'll agree to meet with me again. I'm sure she'll understand with the weather and all. Nice of you to say so. Well, I guess I'll head on back. Supposing Loretta doesn't want to see me after all. I'm out of your league. I won't argue with that. Actually, I wanted to ask you some advice. I had to type up some sort of autobiography on the computer date, and I spent a lot of time on it. But I only got one reply, and that was Loretta herself. I was happy to meet her, but supposing she's lost interest now, do you think maybe you could give me some feedback? It's only a paragraph or so. I have it all memorized. I spent so long writing it. Here goes. I'm a good-natured man, retired, and spend most of my time sailing the Echo River, riding currents of subterranean gas and that strange invisible wind that moans out of the small tunnels along the bank. Seeking a companion to map the river with me. I have 2 grown children, but they live far away. No goofballs. Okay, what do you think? What's that about goofballs? I mean, like, serious inquiries only. You might miss out on some great goofballs. You may be right on that. Why mention your children? Oh, just... I figure it'll come up somehow. I don't know how people feel about dating with kids. Like I said, it's been a while. Are you proud? Yeah, sure I am. My son is a school teacher and my daughter owns a printing press. Good people. Maybe I just mentioned it there, hoping I'll get asked to brag a little. Think about the wind is a little much. Yeah, you're probably right. I wanted to show my poetic side. I'll save that for the date. Alright, thanks for your help, ma'am. Give me a lot to think about. I'm ready to get back on that computer. You have a good night now. What's left of it, anyway. What do you think of that other dog we've got on board, Val? Homer's a sleepy old hound. I know he isn't doing any mushroom hunting, that's for sure. Weird cave fungus growing on soggy moth wings. Sounds kind of romantic, but also kind of gross, right? So, would you like to ride with us for a day? I guess you'd miss Kate even just for a day. Nah, I guess that's settled anyway. Nice to think about that. What's that? It's a crystal. I bought it for you. Wow, thank you, ma'am. Hey, could you hold on to it for a minute? I'm going to look around inside. Wish me luck. Good luck. So are we Johnny now? I think this is the first time we've ever been Johnny. Hey man, how's your night? Quiet. Where are you headed? Helping some new friends make a delivery. We're along for the ride anyway. Well, even if you're not doing the heavy lifting or navigating or whatever, a passenger contributes to a journey too. I never travel, but I do love travelers. That's what I like about this job. Travelers come to me. Meet some interesting people. I wouldn't say I meet them, but I do sell them gas. Well, let me know if I can help you find anything. I guess that's it. That guy's a trip. The gas station attendant. Did you talk to him? It's funny. He actually reminds me of that frog we had for a bit. That frog you had. I like to think he was part of the family, you know? He seemed more like a cat to me. The attendant, I mean. Oh yeah, I can see that too. Aloof, but chatty, strangely. Maybe we should pick up another one. A frog, or a cat, or an iguana, or something. Maybe a third person to travel with. And now that would be a whole new adventure, wouldn't it? You and me, we're good together. Safe. Free. You know what I mean? We can try stuff out, change our clothes, swap parts around, just play. Yeah, they're robots. But I think that's what... I'm not lonely, just curious. With another person to play with, what else could we be? You can keep it in mind, let's not rush into anything. Yeah, you're right about that, ma'am. No rush. Oh, that's Kate. Time to hit the road. River, I mean. See that small brick building? It used to be an upholstery shop. Now it's inhabited by a very skilled taxidermist whose art is greatly in demand. When it was an upholstery stop, it didn't see nearly as much business. The old shop's name has been lost to time and weather. This was decades ago. The only trace of it now is the grayed frame of an old sign behind the new lettering, which now reads Trapper, Stalker, and Sportsman. And then below, smaller, no specimen is too exotic, no arrangement too fanciful. Some of the upholstery equipment is still there too, and still sees active use. Elise is the resident artist, though she's not the owner of the shop. This one sounds more fun. It's owned by a reclusive ex-convict named Judah. Very little is known about him. His crimes generally seem to be violent or otherwise gruesome in some detail. Though, of course, that's all speculation and probably comes from his association with the taxidermy business, even though he never so much as skins a squirrel. He's more like a silent partner. I guess those are the ones you're supposed to keep an eye on. But Judah is old and keeps to himself, and the consensus seems to be that he's paid his debt to society, whatever that debt may have been. I think let's look at the Mammoth video collection. Act 4, Scene 3. The Mucky Mammoth. Eject. Search. The shelves are full of dusty tapes. Some have been relabeled several times, the stickers piling up thick on their spines. Funeral thing. That sounds cheery. Insert. Watch. An elderly couple sit on folding chairs in the middle of a TV studio, undecorated except for a funeral lily and a thin blue vase on the table. The lights are a bit too dim to make out their features. She reads from a newspaper with an unhurried efficiency. Gloria B. of Munfordville passed away on Monday at her residence. Survivors include her children, Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, and Bobby. Okay, that's funny. All of Mumfordville. The memorial service will be held at 7 p.m. Thursday at Hatton Huffman Funeral Home in Munfordville, with cremation to follow. She never knew Gloria. He thinks he may have heard the name. Wondering aloud if she ever worked at a cafe down there in Munfordville. The woman who ran that place was once called Gloria, or maybe still is. They take a call. Someone who knew Gloria B., if not very well. The caller once installed a satellite dish at Gloria's house, a 900-square-foot ranch-style home on 2 acres of a dead end, backed by weeds and pine. When the caller mounted the ladder up to Gloria's roof, she slid open her window and tugged urgently at his pant leg. He followed her gaze behind the house to 2 wild turkeys picking through the weeds. Gloria and the caller watched, silent and still, as the huge birds foraged obliviously into the trees. Then he installed the satellite dish. Sad. Eject. Okay, that was weird. I don't understand it at all. Alright, birds, question mark, art thing, and weather. Let's do the question mark. We gotta do something interesting here. The awful hum. It seems to start before Shannon even hits play. Then there's the familiar room. There are the blank gray walls marked with tape and school desks, and this time she notices a few more details. The murky carpet like standing water, some video equipment stashed in the corner, a row of lockers, and there's Weaver looking serenely at the camera. As before, she starts speaking, and as before, there's no sound but that hum. Shannon finds Weaver's words coming back to her as they appear in captions on the screen. Mail, school, and these magnificent, tragic horses. Go underground as deep as you can go. The air is cool and the earth is damp, and when you close your eyes, you are surrounded by the dead. You remember where that is? You'll find your way from there. I think this place is what you're looking for. Some of it will wash away soon, but I think you'll be happy here, even without the mail, school. The text repeats for a few minutes, and Shannon stops the tape. Why do they have a picture of Weaver, or tape, or return? It looks like people are back. Is there anything else? Let's be done with that. I don't think we're going to get anything more interesting. King Will. No, it was only a few notes. Slow and sad like funeral music, you know. I don't remember it being sad, just simple and unburdened. Maybe that's what funeral music sounds like to me. Unburdened. Oh, hello! Kate and I were just trying to remember the Mammoth song, but neither of us have heard it in years. We'll just found the mechanism. In the Mammoth's belly, hidden in gritty, matted fur. It's like a big music box, a slowly spinning cylinder covered in metal pins that pluck her dulcet guts and pump the bellows in her bowels. But some of the pins are rusted and worn away. Easy to replace if you can ever remember what the notes were. Did I hear you browsing the archive room next door? Find anything good? I found something pretty unsettling, actually. Oh dear, I don't even know what's on half of those tapes anymore. It used to all be movies and that kind of stuff. I like nature documentaries especially. Some people left home movies or little art videos they'd made, but that damn VCR devours anything you leave in it. It just switches into record mode at random, I think, and picks up whatever's coming in over the antenna. Of course, the only station we get down here is that WEVP. Hey, WEVP, I believe, is the logo of when you boot the game up. It shows up. Community television, you know? They've got that show with the gentleman playing banjo in his birthday suit. I'm sure you've seen it. Oh, yes. And if there's no tape in the machine when it tries to start recording, it makes this awful sound, like putting a squeaky toy in a food processor. I can hear it above deck. Awful. That's why I put the sign up. Please do not rewind after watching. At least that's the way nothing gets taped over anymore. What's a station, WEVP? I don't know. Will? I don't know. I guess I never thought of it. It must be nearby, right? It is community television. Dashel? No. Yes! You should meet Dashel. He did a lot of volunteer work for WEVP. In the early days, wiring up antennas and relays, stuff like that. I think the two of you would have a lot to talk about. He works at the telephone exchange. No, I'm afraid he's been let go. Oh, yeah? It's odd. He still takes the ferry to work every day. I'm sure he's at the telephone exchange right now. In fact, I dropped him there a few hours ago. We're stopping at the telephone exchange shortly to deliver their mail and pick up their trash. You should go ashore when we do and ask for Dashel. I rarely miss a chance to lounge on the beach around the rum colony, and I do enjoy their drink, though I don't find their signature liquor suits me. But this time I elected to stay on board and shoot the breeze with Kate over some mineral water. Still, I heard reports. Junebug missed the appointment, but didn't seem perturbed. I'm sure those two were more eager to listen to the house band. I can't remember exactly who was playing. Patch always has someone in to tranquilize the crowd. Well, if we're talking about the rum colony, I should tell you about Patch. He's the bartender, general manager, creative director. I guess that means he books the music. He's pretty much run the place for the last 7 years. A lot of folks assume he owns it, but that is not the case. The rum colony is owned by a dead man named Vernon. Technically, it would be owned by the power company who once bought a sizable interest from Vernon as part of a state-sponsored investment program. But a clause in that arrangement requires them to keep their hands off the day-to-day and most of the profits, so long as Vernon walks this earth. The upshot of all this is that nobody came forth to identify the body. Patch is a good guy, though. Kind, trustworthy. He mixes a strong Mai Tai, if that's your thing. Who's this? Valkyrie and Homer, lounge below deck. Clara, Kate, and I stopped to do some business by telephone. Act 4, Scene 4. A phone. Conway has a lay. I guess we're going to be here for a minute. Looks like they have a few calls to make. What are you going to do? Yeah, that's a good question. I just thought I'd stretch my legs, you know, on firm ground. I didn't realize this place would be floating on barrels. Back when I was driving long hauls, that's the real big trucks now. I sometimes wouldn't leave the cab but to pump gas. I took my meals in there, I slept in there, I changed my socks in there, you know, the whole thing. So one time I was hauling a bunch of big spools, telephone wire I think, actually, up from California into Washington State. You know where that is? It's way out on a map. It's kind of to the left of here, more or less. In between California and Washington, there's this place called Oregon, and you can't pump your own gas there. They have a guy who does it called a gas jockey, and you'd better not even open your door, or they get all suspicious. I drove through California and into Washington, and I refueled in the middle, in Oregon, and so I didn't set foot out of my truck for a whole day. When I came out of that cab, the ground rushed up like it missed me. Gave me a big old kiss right on the chin, right here. What I'm saying is... hell, I forget. What am I talking about? It's important to take breaks. Exactly. Don't forget that, and don't say I never taught you anything. Well, guess I'll head back aboard. Might see if I can find any of the good stuff stashed in the... Maybe in the spice cabinet? Maybe in the medicine cabinet? That's where it belongs. Who am I talking to? Don't listen to me, kid. I'll see you in a few. What happened? Why is he just swimming off? What? You have 23 new messages.
I keep hearing even noises whenever I close my eyes, like bells ringing. But the bells aren't metal bells or ceramic bells. They're kind of bells like normally hear. They're like this weird. I can't even describe the material. It's indescribable. It's ringing. You know, and as soon as I don't close my eyes again, there's nothing.
It's interesting these are voiced.
I remember driving across an old dirt road. My birthday at the party at McDonald's in Hawaii. I got a toy that I didn't like. I broke it. Being taught at jungle gym. I was crying for that small picture rally that a parent takes me out.
What is this?
Seriously? Whether I wear boots or sneakers, my hands always feel damp. Cold and damp.
Well, I was hoping that you'd be able to tell me why I can't sleep. It seems like it's been a long time, and it seems like it's been it's just rapidly.
I remember going to a house in Aroostook County, Maine. I was 2. We were moving, and we were driving up in a white Nissan station wagon with faux wood paneling. And it was the first time that I'd seen the house that I was going to live in for the next 7 years.
Being washed in the bathroom sink.
Are these like people's first memories? No, because there's... What is this?
I was just catching my car. I had a parallel parking street that I live on with school, but there was a... But it just got cold today for like the first time in a long time. So I had the heat on. And whenever you have the heat on in an old car, it definitely smells a certain way. It smells kind of like, it almost smells, you know, like smell that it's hot. And you can feel it too, like the smell that it is like from the car itself, like from the engine. And there's been a lot of smoking going on in that car, so it's not exactly a pleasant smell, but it's definitely strong and it's definitely there. And with the windows down, you can also smell that it's cold. So it is both. And that feeling together is super familiar if you've been in old cars a lot. Anyway, I was parking and I had to go in and out about it like 3 times, but when I finally finished parking, it was perfect. Both wheels against the curb, and that's when I had like a double memory. When I first learned how to drive, my mom taught me how to parallel park. She told me the story about her and
What
dad, who was,
is this?
looked at
Are we gonna get to figure this out or no?
every time she parallel parked,
Alright, yeah, I know.
she would take out a dime, and she could fit each dime between the wheel of her car and the curve of the street. Then she had to do it again. She didn't do that for me. But every time that I got upset about having to do it again, she would tell me that at least I didn't have to be a dime distance away from the curb. I learned how to drive in the fall, and
Okay.
Oh, probably going to school. I can't sleep because the trees are scraping against my window, and it reminds me of a tongue scraping against my skin.
Well, that's pleasant.
What? I'm about to cross an ocean. I worry about my dog. Can't sleep anywhere near a place. The gas is full. Not when it's being sold.
What?
It was tough to hold on to this thing, but yeah, my hands are pretty jammed. I remember the number 10 and a flashcard with a turkey on it. It had a yellow background.
The songs are too loud.
Not a whole lot. I guess I was walking. I was in a stroller in Big Top Park in Florida. My mother accidentally pushed me to a spider web. I freaked out a lot. That's the first thing I remember.
You were sent for.
Okay, we got through all of that very enlightening thing. Don't go diving in too. It's actually really cold and dangerous. Did he say where he was going? He's looking for the good stuff. I see. Still thirsty. Kate keeps some diet soda in the broom closet. We didn't hear it from me. It's next to the bleach. Bring a flashlight. Oh no, I don't think that's what he's looking for. So any important messages? Every single one. Where are you headed tonight, small man? Looking for my family. Looking for a new family? Or the family you lost track of? My folks disappeared. We met Ezra earlier tonight, and he's been very helpful. I'm hoping we can return the favor once we get back above ground. Poor kid was sleeping at the bus station and just lost track of his folks. He'll be alright. He's more at home down here than any of us. Trust me, I have an eye for it. Kate, thanks for calling. Hope I didn't wake you up. No, I can't really get comfortable enough to sleep anymore, except in the car. Oh, not driving. In the passenger seat, reclined. Eric drove me by the reservoir this afternoon after I got an hour or two in. I couldn't get settled in bed, so I was just watching TV, some cooking show about high-concept junk food, and everyone from my high school chemistry class was there, making cupcakes out of old bicycle parts. I think I might have dozed off a bit, actually. Honestly, this baby can come whenever he wants. I'm completely over it. Good for you. You sound really confident. Oh, it's all an act. The phone line makes a horrible sound. Whoa! Wow, the phones here is such a mess. Hey, Kate, I really appreciate you checking in. I have your pager number, and so does Eric, just in case I'm too distracted or whatever. I'll let you go. I should try to eat something. Munch on a bitter headshot cap. That should release some of your intestinal discomfort. Okay, thanks. Maybe I'll just chew on some ice. Talk to you soon, Kate. Hopefully. Just checking in on a client. Did I mention I'm a birth doula? How does that fit with being a tugboat captain? Some women choose to come and labor on the boat, actually. For the rest, I have a backup, just in case I can't get back to dry land in time. I've been lucky and only had to lean on her a handful of times, out of several hundred births. You'd never believe how many people are just born all the time. That's like a nurse, right? Well, no. I don't have any formal medical training or licensing, just a lot of experience. I think most women who hire me mainly want someone in the delivery room who doesn't treat childbirth like some kind of disease to be cured. I mean, no hard feeling against doctors, but they have their own process. It can be pretty alienating sometimes. Your friend went back aboard? Don't worry, he doesn't know about your soda sass. You were sworn to secrecy. Haha, it's okay. I got rid of all that junk food anyway. I'm on a star thistle and grapefruit cleanse. I'm glad you phoned. I was just thinking about you. You're sitting by the phone waiting for my calls? That's so nice. I was eating an early lunch, actually, and my mind was wandering. I visited the hospital yesterday. I went to visit Uncle Andreas, but they moved him. Now he's in hospice care facility run by some old Polish nun. Everyone says it's very nice. I asked them about visiting, and they said he didn't want any visitors. That's his right. I guess it is, technically. Clara, I don't think it's really what he wants. If you came to visit, he would see you. All those afternoons you two would go drinking beers by the river. Don't you think it would mean a lot to him if he could say goodbye to you in person? We must take him at his word. Maybe you know him better than I do, but I just don't believe anyone would really want to die alone. Well, here's Mother at the door. We're going to try again to see him. I hope the tour is going well. Love you. Be careful. My sister. Back home. She's very depressing to me this morning. My Uncle Andreas is terminally ill and refusing visitors, and Nadia is making a stir about it. I'm sorry to hear. Are you close? Yeah, but only recently. He lived abroad for most of my life. I only met him a few years ago. My sister is older, so she knew him as a child, too. So I think her respect for him is distorted by sentiment. We must always take the dying at their word. Their motivations are beyond our understanding. The older man is swimming back to the mammoth? No emergency, I hope. He should really try some licorice root tea. Ah, indigestion. Brandon approaches. I don't suppose any of you folks are headed past the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces? Can't get a hold of your ride? Yeah, my mom usually picks me up from work, but I got wrapped up in a card game. I didn't call her in time. I hitched a ride this far, but it must have been quite a card game. Did you win anything? Oh, it's a variant of solitaire. I designed it myself. Well, it's a work in progress. It's no big deal. I'll just hang out here and read or something until it's time to head back to work. Hey, you folks are traveling with that old guy, right, with the leg? Is he okay? I saw him earlier tonight. He came by the storage facility for some files. He totally bit it on the staircase. He's okay, though, right? He just seems preoccupied to me. Yeah, I get that feeling, too. Back at the storage facility, he was asking a lot of weird questions, and he seemed distracted, like, spiritually. Well, have a good night, or morning, almost. Oh, it's the phone ringing. Oh, is that you? What are you calling for? It is you! I was trying to call a friend in Chicago, a lighting designer. The phone lines are acting up tonight. I believe it must be the storm. I heard it surge through Bowling Green just a few hours ago, sweeping telephone poles across the road in a tangled fan of kindling. Well, maybe you can help me out. I reckon you can. Here's the score. The performance is at dawn. We're coming right up to it. None of the cast is here yet, but that's okay. The stage crew likewise are delayed by bad weather. They may not make it in time, and they've got the props and the costumes with them. Well, I've done more with less. Good theater is always dangerous. My experimental stage production of the death of the hired man can survive these tribulations, but there is one element still missing that is far more crucial. We can have theater without props, without stage setting, even without actors, but there is no theater without light. Of course, my production, experimental though it may be, aspires to emulate its source material. Frost's poem is framed by 3 sources of light, and their effects on its subject, Mary. First, Mary stares a lamp flame on the table in front of her while waiting for her husband Warren to come home. Second, she distances herself from a painful conversation by examining the moonlight in her apron. Third, she watches a little silver cloud pass over the moon, dimming it, as Warren finds Silas dead in the next room. And yet, despite this rich tableau of moonlight, we perform underground, in a storage facility. What I mean is, where in these artificial tunnels lit by draining fluorescence is the moon? Where do you see it in your mind's eye? What's the first solution that appears? Have an actor play the room dressed in white. Play the moon. Interesting solution. I take it you're volunteering? I admire your enthusiasm. You really dive in. You have a natural sensitivity for this kind of work. No unavailability. It's your strongest quality. Thanks. It's a quality I feel is habitually sold short. Keeping oneself available, open to the vagaries of chance and experience, requires constant maintenance. It's a quality we have to nurture in ourselves. Our natural instinct is to close ourselves off from risk and opportunity. A theologian I once happened to meet said, "Why make art? To quiet the mind, making it susceptible to divine influences. That's the kind of availability few of us ever attain." Well, I hope you make it to the premiere, though it's coming up very quickly, and I know you're still traveling. If so, I'll see you here at dawn. Safe travels, and thank you as always for your insight. That right there is Ratliff Monuments, if you ever need a headstone carved for a loved one. Violet Ratliff never married, nevertheless bore 6 children: Earl, Kelly, Barb, Ron, young Earl, and Beauty. And for each birth, she locked the doors of Ratliff Monuments for only one day, even with young Earl when she was in labor for 36 hours. Well, that's what folks said, and I met her, and I believed them. She had the unyielding disposition of a cliffside. None of Violet's children had any desire to go into monument making. Beauty thought it all a bit ghoulish. There's some truth to that. Very little demands for monuments to the living, after all. The run of the shop fell at last to young Earl, the only Ratliff still at home when his mother finally passed at 82, and who then had the honor of engraving her headstone. He's done well, for the most part. His craftsmanship has suffered over time. His hands, cut and bruised by misstrokes, shaken apart from the inside, too. He learned from Violet, striking a block of stone with a mallet and chisel, to absorb the extra shock right into his bones, so as to keep the apparatus straight and carve a perfect line. He spends his time outside work just caring for his hands, soaking his bones in salt water, doing little exercises and stretches. It won't improve the straightness of his marks, and it might put off the day he finds himself unable to carve a line at all, scribbling on rocks like his ancestors. That's the day he has nightmares about. He dreads it like death, but he makes no distinction between them. Ezra taught us a card game. Shannon, Ezra, the old man, and I stopped at the Radvansky Center to make some quick cash. Act 4, Scene 5. The Radvansky Center. Good morning. Bags isn't feeling well. Long night. Poor kitty. What are you watching? Security tape from last night. Daryl left the lights on again. Should we slash his tires? I'll leave a stern note on his desk. Spare the rod. What are we doing today? Right, this is weird. You know that old vending machine? The one that only has tomato juice in it? No. The old one they just stopped refilling. Remember we rolled it out onto the dock last August and some scavenger stripped it for metal in the middle of the night? Daryl cut his hand cleaning up after them, and it got infected, remember? No? Okay, anyway, the rest of it ended up in the coal room until finally, Daryl was piling it up into a big bag for the trash barge to pick up, and he came across this box lost behind all the junk. Check it out. This looks old. Yeah, there's a bunch of videotapes and completed questionnaires. I looked up the reference number, it's never been processed, so I guess that's what we're doing today. There's no date on it. We'll just have to make one up, unless there's some footage of a calendar or something in there. Flipping through questionnaire. I guess these are the old tests where we started doing the video exit interviews. That's annoying. Yeah, let's see. How did we do this? I'll run the tape. You interpret the questionnaire and I'll type it up. Okay. The modernist bookshelf with the fancy vintage turntable. So ostentatious. So Daryl. What? That was my bookshelf. Oh no. But you, like, grew out of it or something, right? It ended up in the lab somehow. I keep my books in a pile now. It's easier to find what I'm looking for. Never, what shelf is that book on? Only, well, it's somewhere here in this pile. Pragmatic. Wow, I haven't seen that poster in a while. I think that was mine from college. Yeah, definitely. Oh, right. Daryl swapped it out in the redesign. Now it's... What's there now? Yeah, that's weird. I can't picture it. I mean, I can picture the wall, and there's definitely something hung there. That's gonna bug me. I'm gonna go look. It's just out in the hall. No, it's okay. Okay. So, what do we do here, anyway? Is this... Wait, this is a set. This should be some basic information in the first control test. Subject's general disposition. Jen looks over the questionnaire document from the envelope. Why are you here? To scheduled ferry stop. Not my final destination. Homesick. Demographic category. What's the first thing you remember? I remember a box of small gears. Working class. I think we should use the old categories and the new categories. Oh, right. Will the computer even still take the old ones? They're still on the menu. Okay. In that place, put in precarious. Sure. Oh, I forgot. Name? It says Marquez on the file. Whoa. Marquez, are you sure? That's what it says. Do you know her? That can't be. Nope. That's not her. Probably talking about Weaver. Did she come alone or with a group? I don't know. There's an extended monitoring tape here, too. We should check on the dock when she showed up. No, definitely not. Oh, she's traveling with one of those creepy distillery guys. Him? Nah, he just looks like some old drifter. Maybe you're right. It's hard to tell in this light. Oh, it's... Wait, who is that? That guy in the hoodie. What? I've never seen him before. Really? He looks so familiar. I thought maybe he was a former intern or something. He's a little old for that, right? No, I don't recognize him. Sorry. You're all deja vu this morning. Spooky. Sorry, just one of those days, I guess. Huh. I guess the old man is on dinghy guard duty. A noble assignment. So who was this lady? Oh, right. Well, do you remember WEVP TV? No. Okay. It was a community television station. The Consolidated Power Company had to fund it as like a punishment for owning too much of the broadcast spectrum or something. Oh, they used to screen your videos, right? Yeah, it was like a co-op. I did some maintenance and they gave me a slot to show my work. And they had that naked banjo guy late at night. Yeah, that's mainly what everyone remembers. I guess their whole mandate was community expression. He was certainly expressive. Oh wait, was WEVP the one that... the flood, right? Yeah. Damn. So, Shannon Marquez, did she have a naked banjo show too? What? No. Let me guess. Which of the following sentences best describe you? I grieve for Faye Manners. She did the weather? No, I've never heard of Shannon Marquez. It was a Weaver Marquez I knew. She worked at the station for a bit, and then she left on kind of weird terms, actually. Anyway, where were we? Okay, how do we rank her from the control test? Without turning around to look, please describe the following objects. Bookshelf. It has 3 shelves. It is shaped like a snake. Reminds me of a library. Question. Poster. I remember circles. I have a poster in my workshop, a vintage advertisement for vacuum tubes. Lighting. 1 lamp. Average, I guess. Average, okay. What is this? It's a pear. How many pictures did she remember? 2, or actually maybe 3. What? She wrote down orange, strawberry, guava. Guava? I think she meant the pear. See, that's why I hate this test. There's so much fruit that basically just looks like all the other fruit. Oh, guava. Does a guava even look like a pear, though? I don't think I've ever seen a guava. I thought they were pink. They're just pink on the inside. It wouldn't confuse a real guava for a real pear, but in one of Daryl's crude watercolors. But I can still clearly tell that that's a pear, even on video. Yeah, you and I can. We already know it's a pear. She could be remembering wrong or just identifying what to her is a much more likely fruit to appear in a painting based on any number of cultural, social, geographic, you know? She didn't say anything in response to help clarify. Let's see. Question. Please describe in detail any sensations that accompany your memory of the pictures. I remember the way fruit tastes. I remember the guava is just like candy. It's almost unnatural. Not really, just some sensory memories of guava. I guess we should just skip the pictures. That's a shame. It's really hard to measure memory degradation in some of the later tests without this one as a baseline location updating scenario. I've been saying we should just use photographs. Watercolor paintings already have the quality of a half-remembered dream anyway. Like they're inviting you to forget them. Or somebody else already forgot them for you, like a mama bird feeding your chicks cotton candy. Photographs are, it's not that they're really more accurate or true, but we think they are. They put you in that mindset. They have authority. So yeah, out with the watercolors, I say. But then poor Daryl would have nowhere to exhibit his work. Jen makes a noise. It's a cat. Jen, look who it is. Aw, I miss that kitty. I forgot what became of the white one. Her name was Coconut, and she disappeared without a trace. Easy come, easy go. I wouldn't say easy. I had to leave food on the dock for a week before she'd come inside. She only stuck around for a month or 2. You probably saw quite a lot of her. I remember you were working nights then. She was a nocturnal creature. That's right, I remember. Was there food to give the cat, I'm guessing? Wait, I don't remember this test. Oh, did we cut this one? What's the questionnaire like? No, this is just... Sometimes if I can't make it in for a few days, I might leave a note to feed the cats. For the test subjects? Wow, how do you know they'll do it? I write it on University Letterhead. Jen, that is unethical. At least I don't use university property and research equipment to make weird video art. Very well then, I contradict myself. Haha. I wonder which is the nobler transgression. I'll settle that question. It's nobler to feed kitties. Well, here's another extended monitoring tape from the waiting room. Busy night. There he is again, sleeping. Where do I know him from? It's gonna drive me up the wall. Does he work at the university? Oh, that sounds familiar. Yeah, I think he might have worked there a long time ago, maybe when I was an undergrad. Ah, the Paleolithic. I thought he looked a bit rugged. That's right, Jen. I went to college during the Stone Age. What was your major? Fire. I don't think he was a professor. Maybe staff? It's been so long. Sometimes I wish I'd just barreled through like you did, instead of taking time off before grad school. I'm sure it was the right thing to do at the time. Yeah, or the only thing. I was such a mess. Did I ever tell you about that? My boyfriend died suddenly in my last year of college. Oh, poor thing. It's okay. It was a long time ago, but yeah, it really shook me up back then. He was studying aviation. We were both really into experimental music. We took a few art classes together. That's so sad. Sorry, never mind. No, it's okay. That's the thing, actually. I mean, that's what shook me up about it. It was just this random accident that never should have happened. And so sudden you could have never seen it coming. He was back home, visiting his parents, and he fell off a roof. Oh, it's, the one kid who is in Conway's past. I know what you mean. You can't predict that kind of, what do they call it, freak accident kind of thing? My psychiatrist has said that's why I'm such a pessimist. Well, I think you're remarkably upbeat, all things considered. I mean, you know that thing with your boyfriend in the roof, but also what happened to the TV station. Acts of God. You think? No, I mean, that's what you call it. That's what you say when it's nobody's fault. I don't think I believe in that. What? Acts of God? Yeah, but there has to be a word for when something completely shitty happens for no reason, right? I mean, I guess it's kind of archaic. Jen flips to the questionnaire. First, please use the blank space below to describe your general feelings about television. If you have difficulty summarizing your emotions succinctly, or maybe have too many different feelings to fit in the blank space, you may also use the back of this paper. Television is my preferred window to the world. You were asked to watch several videos. How many of the videos did you watch? All of them. Speaking of the TV station, you were saying something earlier about that other Marquez girl? Oh, right, I was talking about Weaver. Yeah, what exactly happened to her? She said you said she left on weird terms? Yeah, well, so actually she just stopped showing up, and that's pretty normal. It was all volunteers, right? Community television? Yeah, people didn't really give much advance notice. They just got bored and drifted away. It was more like an art project than a job for most people. Weaver Marquez helped manage the archives, like filing and sorting old tapes of broadcasts. I think she was pretty smart. She probably could have been more help fixing equipment or something, but she seemed content just to organize tapes. Nobody ever talked to her much, so when she left, no big deal. But then a couple of months later, we started getting these bizarre interventions. The camera focused on a table, passed through a doorway, then focused on another table. Which object present on the first table was also present on the second table? The picture was too blurry to make anything out. You'd have these ECRs professionally cleaned. Someone would be doing a show on a normal time slot, and then suddenly the feed would cut. We'd still be broadcasting, but our signal was totally jammed. Oh, like interference? I mean, total blackout. And this video would come on, clearly shot in our studio at some point, and it was her, Weaver Marquez. She'd be standing in the middle of the studio facing the camera. That's creepy. You were asked to make note of a fond memory from childhood and associate with one of the objects on the table on the screen. Which object did you choose? The folded map. Was this object present on the second on-screen table after the camera passed through the doorway? Not the same one, but another one sort of like it. It's a bit fuzzy in my memory, but I do remember the sound, this awful hum. Like, that was how she did it. She made a hum so sinister it drove our signal into hiding. The video began with footage of the outside of a building and then entered in the building. Was it day or night outside the building? It was night. When the camera exited the building again, was it day or night outside the building? It was night. Then there were these on-screen captions, exactly the same every time. I don't remember what they said. Something creepy. Wow. Let's see, do we look at these ones too? Oh, we do. The camera passed through several doors with inscribed labels. Please write down the sounds you heard as the video passed through, with the following inscription. Travel. Footsteps. Nourishment. A sort of clink, like coins falling into a cup. Sleep. Music. We had a title maker at the station, but it was just a different font. I guess she recorded it at WEVP and then took it somewhere else to add the captions. I don't know. We all did a lot of speculating about how she made the video, why she made the video. Yeah, why not just broadcast it normally? It was community television, right? Couldn't be any worse than Naked Banjo Guy. Yeah, exactly. Some people thought it was a protest or something, but I know she didn't have anything against the station. To me, it felt kind of urgent, like she would have done her broadcast to the proper channels, but if something came up, a crisis or something. The video began in one room and passed through a doorway into another room. In each room, a piece of music was playing. Was it the same piece of music in both rooms? No, they were different. Was the music in the first room optimistic or pessimistic? It was pessimistic. In the second room, it was optimistic. How often did it happen? A lot. Dozens of times. It went on for years. We even thought about asking the police to look into it. But it's so hard to locate a pirate signal. I mean, it could come from any direction, you know? It's all just waves. Exactly. Waves. Okay. At the beginning of the video, you were asked to make note of a memory from earlier in the day and associate it with one of the objects on the table of the screen. Which of the objects did you choose? The empty bottle. Was this the object present on the second on-screen table after the camera passed through the doorway? Not the same. Weaver's video showed up right before the flood. Actually, I think it might have been the last thing we ever broadcast. The flood, huh? Interesting. Okay. Location updating effect on emotional memory. Subject is measuring near the edge of the useful range for introspection index. You may need to reject this data. This test is so hard to interpret. They're too bored by this point. Plus, it's hard to account for ambient amusement from the last test. Can we just write too bored and go on to the next one? This is taking a while. Daryl will be heartbroken if this is the only box we get through today. The poor thing. He's like a paper butterfly. I would say a moth. It's your friend again. And Coconut. Oh. He seems relaxed. Wise Will. I can't believe it. What? That's what we called him. God, it's been a million years. He did work at the university when I was an undergrad. He hung around the music department. But he was sort of a general technician. He'd fix the PA, run the soundboard during student theater productions, stuff like that. Student theater productions? Is there something you want to tell me, Mimi? Oh, no. I was just in the audience. They did some interesting stuff back then in the Paleolithic. So he would shake the rain stick and crank the dry ice machine, huh? Why did you call him Wise Will? He was chatty. He'd tell you all about the school's architecture, local history, county politics, gossip, folk remedies, like they were all part of the same thing. I always wondered what happened to him. Well, now you know. He's part of our data. Yep. Just another data point floating down the echo. Who's she talking to? The test subjects are supposed to be talking to each other, so we can compare their recall fidelity before and after the phone conversation. That's what I mean, he's not even on the phone. She didn't fill out the questionnaire either. Well, what did he write? He just drew a picture of the cat. Oh, maybe she misdialed? She's been on the line for a minute, though. Is there tape? Of her conversation, I mean. Yeah, let's check it out. Yeah, that's my number, alright. You dialed correctly, but I'm not a part of any research study. Yeah, I'll tell you what, the phone's been bananas around here lately. I think the phone company's understaffed or someone's asleep at the switchboard. It is pretty early after all. I get up earlier than most. I've got to do my deltoid regimen and then cool down a bit before my morning swim. You know how it is. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you hang up and try dialing again? Hit the buttons real hard if you can. Maybe you'll wake them up and they'll connect you right. Let's go out for a second. Is there a questionnaire she's supposed to fill out? Oh, I can't even do anything, but we'll try again. Yep, hello. You got me again. I'll tell you what. Suits me just fine. My delts are cooling and the coffee's brewing. I'm just sitting here looking out the window anyway into the dark. I mean, the sun isn't even up. Sounds lonely. Yeah, well, not so lonely at the moment, is it? I'll tell you what. It's nice to hear another voice before the sun's up, and one that isn't making excuses or demands. You may have guessed by now, but I'm, Say, why don't you guess? Not guess, deduce. Take a closer listen to my voice, and let's see what you think you can know about me. I mean, what do I look like? What do I like to do, and so on? Then I'll try you. Let me give you something to work with. What should I say? A phrase you can listen to and analyze. Try it's better than being in a ditch. It's better than being in a ditch. Got it? Okay, what do you think? What kind of body makes a voice like that? You're strong, about 6 feet tall. Yes, yes. Can you hear what my teeth are like? What? You should be able to hear that. Every word I say has got to go right by them. Your teeth are sharp, and your jaw is strong. Strong, sharp voice. You can probably tell by my clear, precise enunciation. No awkward breaks mid-word to catch my breath, and so on. What about a job? What do you guess my job is? You're a copywriter. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'll tell you what. I'll do a little deduction of my own and speculate that you're sharp. At the very least, I'd say you love art, or any way you tolerate it. I'm certain you're what they used to call an apiarist. That is, you keep bees. If you aren't, then I don't know a thing. How'd I do? You got me a couple parts right. Well, it ain't a science. We're just trying to get in the neighborhood. I am an orthopedic physical therapist by trade, specializing in post-surgical rehabilitation. And I do all my intake interviews over the phone, because I can believe you can get a pretty damn accurate picture of someone's general health just by interfacing with them verbally. Now, many of my colleagues disagree. They think that the body is the body and the mind is the mind. Well, I'll tell you what. Having worked in this field for nearly 3 decades and seen all manner of evidence, I'm no longer sure I believe in the mind at all. Let me give you an example. I had a patient who lost his right hand to misadventure and infection. He worked in a factory, operating a delicate machine that required years of specialized training, so he focused on coordination and getting his left hand up to speed and accuracy required for the work. I'll tell you what, after a couple of weeks he was writing, throwing darts, you name it, all left-handed. A triumph of physical therapy. Back to work. The next day he was unemployed. Seems he sat in front of that delicate machine, reached out with his left hand, and just froze. Had no idea what to do with the thing. Next time he worked in my office, he said to me, "Doc, when I lost that hand, all my memory of working that machine went along with it." He said, "I'll tell you what, Doc, if I ever learn to trade again, I'll learn it in my gut. I won't ever again put something so precious as a memory in a place as vulnerable as a hand." Well, my coffee's done brewing. I'll let you go. What is this now? Oh, look, can you read the date? I can't read it either. It may not have been current. I remember for a while we had a calendar up that was like years behind. I think Daryl liked the picture. What was it? Best friends. Every month there was a different pair of animals that were friends. That's adorable. I think I'm going to be sick. You don't remember that? That weird intern brought it from home. What was his name? Who? Oh, you remember. He was always like, we would make fun of him for... he's almost completely gone from my brain. So many interns coming and going then. I guess I didn't even bother remembering their names. I wonder who was working back when this was recorded. Is there a tape of the monitoring room? Yeah, here it is. Oh, before we check that out, did you flip the calendar forward or backward? Backward. Oh, weird. We usually flip it forward. There she goes. Wait, did she follow them out? Oh, well, here's the last extended monitoring tape from the dock when they left. See? Told you he was one of those distillery guys. I guess you were right. These other guys can pick him up for work, maybe? I don't like how they all hang out together. It's creepy. We hang out together and work together. Yeah, but it's not... They're like more than coworkers. I don't know. I just get this awful feeling whenever I see them. Like I knew them once, but not anymore. Like when they make up a dead person look like an old photograph of themselves. Sort of familiar, sort of strange. Yeah, exactly. Gotta be a word for that. Bye, Kitty. They look like nice enough people. I'm sure she's very happy with them. Yeah, so... This has been a bit of a memory trip for you, huh? I bet you didn't expect these old tapes to stir up so much. How does it feel for these people to come up again? Weaver Marquez and Wise Will? I mean, what was your boyfriend's name when he died in college? Charlie. Yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet experience, actually. Like, looking at photographs of people who died or moved away. People that are gone. Gone but not forgotten. No, not forgotten. You're right. Alright, I think I'm going to call it there for the night. That was certainly an interesting experience. We will finish up Act 4 and hopefully Act 5 next week. Alright, see you then.